What's up, everyone? Coach D speaks here. So this excuse that Donald Trump and his spokesperson and Marjorie Taylor Greene are coming up with about Nick Fuentes and how they didn't know him shows you just how gullible and ignorant they actually think their supporters are. Check this out.
They just don't want people like Nick Fuentes and others in his orbit. That's what they're saying.
Well, look, I think a lot of people don't even know who this person is, and President Trump was one of them, and several people on the staff I don't think knew who this person was.
I like how she just doesn't even say his name. But she's saying no one in the world knows who he is. Donald Trump didn't know who he was. No one on his staff knew who Nick Fuentes was. Yet he gets to walk into the former president of the United States home and have dinner with him. Make that make sense.
Again, this was rescheduled. It was only supposed to be one-on-one. And then, of course, it happened, right around the Thanksgiving holidays. So that's how it ended up happening.
So it happened around the Thanksgiving holiday, and that's how it happened. What? They think you're dumb. This is the explanation that they're giving because they think you're dumb.
I mean, they did not know that Kanye was bringing anyone else. Again, Kanye West is very controversial, obviously, but President Trump's not going to, shy away from meeting with Kanye West because, he's had a relationship with him in the past, and he asked him for advice, and he said, I'll give him advice. It was very short. It was supposed to be one-on-one. And again, he didn't know who this person was. And frankly, I don't think most people in America know who this person is.
So Trump's not going to shy away from talking to Kanye West because that's his friend and he's had a relationship with him and blah, blah, blah. And it turns out Kanye was probably the worst person in the room that day. And that's hard to say when you're in a room with just Donald Trump and Nick Fuentes. But this is their play. Their play is, we had no idea who he was. And now let's listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene make the exact same claim.
Most people in this country has no clue who Nick Fuentes is. And if they heard his statements that he makes, they would want nothing to do with him.
Marjorie, are you talking about this Nick Fuentes?
The representative from Georgia, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene knows that there is a literal video of Nick Fuentes introducing her at one of his conferences, and she still has the gall to make this statement. They think their supporters, and they may be right about this, are so gullible and ignorant that they won't even care about this. What is going on in this world today? This is absolutely nuts. But go on, Marjorie.
He sounds like a very immature young man saying hateful things about people.
This guy, Marjorie, the guy in this picture with you that you're claiming not to know. What?
And using a people group, talking about people he doesn't like by an entire people group.
Using a people group, talking about people he doesn't like by an entire people group? What are people groups? Gosh!
Which is horrible. Why would he ever do that?
Because he claims to be a white Christian nationalist like you.
And then also say, no, I'm not racist or I'm not these things. Yeah, you are if you talk that way.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree, Marjorie. It's kind of like if you talk this way.
There is an Islamic invasion into our government offices right now. Okay, you saw after midterm elections, we saw so many Muslims elected. I don't know the exact number, but there were quite a few. We had that woman out of Minnesota. Now she's going into Congress and she's got to wear a head covering. They want to put their hand on the Quran and be sworn in. No, you have to be sworn in on the Bible. But we have an Islamic invasion into our government offices.
Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to rewrite history as a person who speaks out against racism is rich. But check out this part.
And I don't know why Kanye West would align himself with that. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
It makes no sense to you why Kanye West, a person who has made racist and anti-Semite statements many times, would align himself with a racist anti-Semite like Nick Fuentes? Really?
Because the reality is, why would anyone want to follow or hang out with someone that condemns an entire group of people constantly?
Yeah, Marjorie. Why would anyone want to hang out with Nick Fuentes? If only you knew someone who had hung out with him, you could ask them that question. Again, people, this is risk versus reward for Republicans. Hanging out with or being around someone like Nick Fuentes was worth the risk because the reward was getting the support of the racists in the Republican base. That is it. End of story. Period.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.